Hi everyone, I'm back in The Sims 4 and this time I decided to give the Goth household a completely new house. I just never liked the house that they came with. This is the inspiration photo that I'm working off to create a new house. It isn't quite as detailed as that because of limitations in the Sims, but I've given it a good try to get it as close to that as possible. Obviously, I've only got the photo from that one angle, so I've had to wing it with the rest of the build, and I've added two as I've gone along to try and make it something similar to what I think it would look like. But this one has got a lot of angles, so they're kind of hard to work with in the Sims 4. But the original house, one thing I really hated about it was the one kind of strange box on the roof. That was the thing that I just didn't like the look of it. So I wanted this to feel a bit more put together, and I want it to have quite a lot of detail. Like, I think Gothic houses tend to have quite a lot of detail to them. They look quite they've got like what's the word for it? So like the roof has got all the little extra details to it, like the trims on the roof, things like that. And yeah, I just wanted it to look a bit more opulent, I think is the word. So this part of the roof was the most annoying part for me. I couldn't get it to look right. So I've had to go with an oversized roof for the... So the roof doesn't quite match the actual turret. It doesn't quite match, but if I'd have gone too wide, it wouldn't have looked like the picture. So I decided to make the roof oversized for the turret, but I think it looks better that way than having, because otherwise the walls don't match up to it as well. The roof lines are kind of annoying in this game, but I've tried to match it up the best I can, and I think once it's all coloured, the walls are coloured and the roof, I think it merges in pretty well, so you don't notice it as much. So I don't know if you'd have found a different way around it, but that was my solution. So yeah, the roof is a bit of a different size to the walls, but I think it works. I hope it works. But yeah, I've tried to get a lot of the detail in. So we've got the beams, we've got the fancy edging along the roof. So I think all of it adds to that extra detail, and I've used different trims as well depending on the wall height, because I think the downstairs is a taller wall height than the upstairs. So I've had to use some different trims along different areas, because otherwise it looks ridiculous having the thicker trim on the smaller wall height. So I've mixed it up with the trims as well. So there's a lot of detail in this build. The outside I really did try and concentrate on the outside to get it as close to the kind of inspiration picture as I could, which meant I did spend quite a long time on the exterior. There's a couple of rooms that have not been added to the speed build, which is I think 2 of the bedrooms, just because of how long it took to put this together. So the youngest child's bedroom and the main bedroom at the back I haven't filmed, but there is pictures of those rooms at the end, and if you want to have a look around, or if you want to download this build, it is available on my gallery. So it's just Simmer Hills again, and you can download it to your save file, and then you can have a good look around. But yeah, those 2 rooms I just didn't manage to film, but as I say, there is some screenshots at the end, so you can just pause it and have a look at those rooms if you'd want to have a look at those. So yeah, we're just adding the windows in, and it starts I think it starts to come together once the colours are on the wall and the roof is changed, because the lighter roof just doesn't give it the look that it needs to look like a Gothic house. But this to me is where the build really starts to take shape and look like a proper Gothic manor. I think this build has been one of my favourite to do for quite a while, because I just could relax and take my time over it, and because of spending so long on the exterior, just landscaping and enjoying decorating this one, it's just been one of the most enjoyable builds I've done for a while. So even if this one isn't to your taste, I know obviously it's a very dark build, but that was done intentionally just because of the build that it is. So it might not be to everyone's taste, but I really enjoyed putting this build together, and I think it's back to Sims that I enjoy. Just builds that I enjoy, because I haven't done one that I just took my time with, and I didn't, other than that initial picture, I didn't really have anything in mind of what I was going to do with this particular build. And then as I got more into it, especially with the interior and thinking about what the Goths' personalities are like, so that kind of is how the build developed. So I was thinking more, I had a lot of like Addams Family vibes when I was doing it. I wanted that kind of whole Addams Family, like they're a close-knit family, but they've just got this Gothic side to them, and that's what I wanted with this build. So I hope that kind of comes across in the final look of the build. So the outside is actually a lot more dark than the inside, although there's a lot of blacks and reds, but there is some golds in there, which I think it adds that luxury to the build. So it's not all just black. There's a lot of luxury in there with the red and the gold. And then there's these like little pocket areas. So when you get up to the top of the stairs, there's a little landing area. And this was because of the glitch with the roof that I did this, because I really wanted an open area next to the stairs to have like a chandelier hanging down into the living room. So because of that, I had to think of a different way to be able to break this area up, because I did want it like a big hallway. So I did it with an arch so that I could still have the hallway, but also have I could use a fence without the roof glitch coming through. So it's a bit of make do and mend sometimes with The Sims because of different glitches. That roof glitch it gets frustrating sometimes, because obviously if you've got a layout in your mind and that affects the layout, it can be a bit of a problem, but it's just finding workarounds, and in this case an arch just solved that issue. So I used the arch just to break the hallway up, which I wouldn't have done if it wasn't for that glitch. But it's just one of those things, I think, with The Sims. You have to get used to these little issues. So we're nearly there on the exterior, and then there's just some landscaping to finish it off. And if you remember in the like the picture that I used as inspiration, it had some plants at the side of the stairs, the main entry stairs, and I thought that was like a good way to just merge it into the landscape. I didn't want too much going on because the house is quite grand and opulent, so I think I didn't want too much going on with the landscaping. So I've used like hedges and flowers, but I've stuck to purple, so I haven't mixed too many colours in. There might be the odd pink, but I've stuck to purple and green. And then obviously the house is the big focal point, and the landscaping is just supposed to merge around it. and not take away from the focal point of the house. So all these extra details on the roof, I do think they add a lot of detail to the build. Some of it was a bit of hit and miss because obviously I've manually changed the roof heights, so some of it didn't snap to the roof, which just means a bit of jiggling the roof details about just to get them to fit where I wanted them to fit. But yeah, we're nearly there with the the roof detailing. I do add a few gargoyles and things which are on there, and I think again that just adds to the whole like gothic look of the house. And I've tried to stick to minimal colours, so we've got the I think it looks like more of a silver detail into the roof, but then the rest of it is just black. And I think that looks, I think it suits the build really well. I do add this fence, but I do end up scrapping that near the end. I'm not even sure if that's on camera when I get rid of it, but it's just because there's some what are they called, like stands that statues can stand on, and I thought that with a wall looked a lot more, I thought it suited the build more than this little fence, so I end up changing it for the gargoyle and stands. I think that there's like some angels and yeah, there's a couple of different statues, so they end up being swapped out instead of this, and some hedges as well, so it merges a lot better than this little black fence. Although I suppose I could have used that in some different areas, but I decided to scrap it in the end. But the flowers, I think they suit the build, and I think sticking to that one colour, it doesn't distract from the main building. So I know I'm moving it at the minute, but I do actually just get rid of it in the end. I just end up scrapping it. But I think this entrance looks really nice. It looks like a grand entrance to the house. So I do like that. I think that's the main selling point for me, is the entrance to this. It's kind of like a, wow, this is your house. And I love this little entrance hallway as well. So they've got like a little seating area, a little area where they can check their outfit, a little coat stand, and it's just somewhere where you can make sure you look all right before you leave the house. So I really like that little entrance. Just adding some wallpapers to the downstairs, and the kitchen wallpaper I think does get changed actually. I can't remember. I think I thought it was a bit too bright for that room, so I might have changed that. I can't remember. But yeah, I do love this wallpaper in the entrance, and I think it suits this style really well. Same as the living room. It looks like it's not just black. I mean this one isn't black at all, but you've got that gothic detail in there, and I just think it suits this build really well. And with the gold details as well, like I say, you don't have to just stick to black. I think having those details that look luxury but add a bit of colour as well, I think the gold looks really nice in this build. And I love the wallpaper in the living room, and I very rarely use that one because obviously it's so busy. It's a really busy wallpaper, but it suits this build. Oh look, I've swapped it for the wood as well, but I really like that wallpaper. I don't know why I changed that, but I must have done at some point. Like I said, I did film this about a week ago, maybe just over a week ago, but because I've been really poorly, you might even hear it in my voice actually. It's a little bit croaky still, but it's getting there. But I've had an awful cough, and I was laid in bed for like 2 days where I couldn't do anything because I was just ill, and the whole household got it. Other than one of my children, everybody in the house got it. So we've all been in bed and not very well. But we're coming out the other end of it. But if I do sound a bit rough in my voice, it's just because of us all being ill. So the kitchen, I changed so many times. It was just trying to get it to fit with the rest of the house. And I did struggle with trying to make it fit with the rest of the house. But I wanted it to have a little bit of colour. I didn't want it to just be a black room. I wanted it to have some colour details, colour pop. And I think with the curtains and then the sink and the chairs, you've got the colour in there, while it's still got that feel of being the Goth's villa. And I also decided to add this. I don't know if I've got the right word for this, but I've called it like a little seance area. So it's got like a ball where they can. Although they've got an area in the living room for this, but this is supposed to be like a centerpiece where it's somewhere where it's got shrines to people. So I don't know if I've named it right or what, but that's what that area is supposed to be. And it's like my favourite bit of the kitchen. So you've got all these like little memorabilia things and things that might link to people. I think of them as maybe like little voodoo dolls or little dolls that, I don't know, they've got a meaning behind them anyway. So that's that whole area. Onto the living room. I think the living room is probably the most luxurious area of the house. I really wish I'd have kept that other wallpaper though. I don't know why I changed it for this wood, but because I've put the wallpaper in the front room, that's why I've changed it. So the front room that you can't see at the minute, that ends up being like a little bar music area, and then this is the main living room area. So I've switched the wallpaper from that room, from the main living room to that. And I suppose with this wood tone, you can get more furniture that goes with it, because the wallpaper is really busy. So yeah, we've got a mixture of things. Like the paranormal stuff pack is brilliant for a build like this. It's got loads of items that you can use. And as you can see, I've used the crystal ball again, but that one can actually be used. You can sit around and interact with that one, whereas the other one's more for show and more for like a decoration area. There is a glitch with the walls. I don't know if everybody else is getting this, but where you've got windows and stuff on a diagonal, I'm getting these glitches where it looks like the wall's actually cracked, which I suppose for an older build is not a bad thing, but the cracks are really white, so they stand out quite a bit. Is everybody getting that glitch, or is that just me? It's a little bit annoying, but I covered it up with some... it's not so bad in this one because it's covered by the pattern of the wallpaper, but in the main living room, obviously it's quite a plain wood, so it stands out really badly. And I've had to add some like little panels to the wall just to try and hide that glitch, because it's something that, I mean, it does annoy me, things like that, but it depends how much it bugs you really, but I found it like really annoying, so I didn't like having it on there. So anyway, I've used these little curtain panels around the windows just to add that little bit of privacy. Like you could pull it round and you could have like a cozy little dinner party or like little evening session in there. So there's a little bar, piano, little seating area, and I think it's quite a cozy little room that where the Goths could have guests over. It's a little party room really, off the main living room. So if maybe only one person invites someone round, they've got a little area to go, and then people can still sit in the living room as well. So yeah, everything is quite grand, like the picture frames, the globe, the wallpaper, everything in that room is grand. The living room, I still think the living room still looks quite grand even without the opulent wallpaper. I think this room is still quite quite busy. It's got a lot going on in here. I've tried to add like old-fashioned pictures and shelving, and yeah, it's a real eclectic mix, I think, of items in here. The sofas, I don't think they're too grand, but obviously they've got the deep red colour and then the purple cushions with the yellow rug, so everything, it is quite it makes a statement. They're all statement pieces. So if I did a renovation or a whole new house for maybe some classic Sims, which property would you like to see redone or modernised or just refurbished? If you want, for example, if you wanted the build to stay the same, so the walls don't change, which builds would you like to see modernised? And would you like them just to be redecorated or completely redone? It'd be interesting to know which ones are popular to see redone. Maybe the pancakes house could be done, or some of the maybe the more modern builds in some of the newer packs that you'd like to see redone. Let me know in the comments. Like I said, the hospital build that I did recently was due to a comment, what somebody said they would like redone. So I don't mind suggestions to have a look at different ones that maybe I haven't looked at in a long time, or builds that I've not even thought about redoing. I know some of the worlds I look at more often than others, so just depending on what builds you like, let me know if there's any that you think could do with a refresh, or just you want a different take on them, and I'll have a look. I'll see what I can do. It's nice to have a look at one, because sometimes I can get a bit samey and go back to the same build over and over again, especially in Willow Creek, because there's quite a bit of choice in Willow Creek. And I know the next build that I've got coming up is another Willow Creek refresh, which is the gym. And I really wanted to do that one because I did the library, and having the gym next to it, which was the original gym, it stood out like a sore thumb next to the new library. So I really wanted to get that one refreshed, and in fact I really want to do that whole row because the nightclub's horrendous, so I would like to redo that. And the museum, I just think it's quite plain, and I just don't think there's enough there to warrant your Sims going to visit it. So I think the museum does. I think I just need to do that whole row, and hopefully everybody's interested in those two renovations as well. But if not, I will definitely do other ones as well. So yeah, please just leave a comment and let me know which ones you'd like to see redone. Also, I'm going to take a trip back to Planet Zoo. I would like to do another habitat in there. So that won't be my next one, because my next one is already done, which is the gym in Willow Creek. So that'll be my next video, and then I'll take a trip back to Planet Zoo, and then possibly popping back to The Sims 4. I'm not sure what I fancy doing next. I'll have a look on the Sim 4 map and see which ones kind of stand out to me, to see what I fancy giving a bit of a fresh look to. I'm sure there's plenty. I've also got another one in Willow Creek actually that I downloaded, which is a bit like it's a build filled with rubbish, and it's all worn and old, and I've done a similar one quite a while ago, where you take a build like this and then you've got to scrap it back to the basics, get rid of all the rubbish and stuff, so it takes ages to like take it back to basics and then put a spin on it and try and make it look nice after getting rid of everything that's wrong with it. So that's one that I could do as well, and I think that one might take a while because it's a pretty decent size, and the amount of rubbish on the lot is horrendous. There's so much. So that would be a fun one to try actually. I like doing those because there's so much like walls not finished off and things like that, you can't really see the build or what you really want to do with it until you've stripped it back. So they're really interesting to do. So yeah, if anybody wants to see one of those again, I'd be quite happy to do one of those. Or yeah, I don't know, I'd like to do something a little bit different maybe. So like I say, I've got a couple of community lots that I want to do, but then maybe some residential ones, or turning some into apartments or something like that, because obviously we've got the for rent pack. But yeah, I'm quite happy or open to suggestions of what to have a look at. But I have been enjoying just going back to some of the really original builds, and just obviously with the amount of items that we've got now, it's nice to be able to just bring them up to date with what we've got available to us now. And that makes a big difference in a build, because obviously when this was created, we had a lot less items to make a build with. So having all these options just means builds can be so much more creative now. But I think especially this room really suits the Goths, with the red, the pop of red. The little magic table, I just think it really suits their personalities. So yeah, I think having things like this available in the game, it just means you can suit the Sims better than when we only had base game items. And there just wasn't as much options especially to suit a Sim's personality. Like the base game is very limited. So I love options. Like I hate doing just base game builds, because I like more options the better for me. I just like having different items. So that's my preference. This bathroom does end up changing, so it doesn't end up coming off the bedroom that it's off now. So the door ends up being where the shower is, and it comes off the main bedroom, because that bedroom's bigger. So that's why the bathroom the shower ends up changing where the door is, and that's about it. I think the rest of it stays pretty much the same. But it was just because the bedroom it's off doesn't end up becoming the main bedroom. That would be Bella's bedroom. Is that right? Cassandra's bedroom. And then the other bedroom would be the main bedroom. So, yeah, that's why that changes. You'll probably see it in the screenshots better anyway. But yeah, the main bedroom has got a bigger balcony, so that's why it became the main bedroom as well. And I just put a yoga mat out there, and there's a little seating area where they can maybe have a little romantic drink or something to eat together. But the outside space is actually quite small on this lot, and I thought actually for the Goths that's probably a really good idea, because I get the feeling they're not really outdoorsy type people. So it's making the most of the inside space for them in this lot. They've got candle making in their office, because I think with a Gothic mansion, candles are like a staple. So I thought a candle making activity just made sense for this build. So the office, yeah, they've got the computer as standard, candle making, books, and a little seating area in front of the books. And I think that's plenty for them to do in their office. And then they've got 2 double bedrooms and a single bedroom, and then they've got the downstairs has got quite a lot of activities as well, because you've got the music room, bar. So there's plenty of skill building items here, as well as decorative items. And even in the hallway there's another little reading nook there, so there's plenty of little areas in this household for them. Because I just have the feeling that they're not really outdoorsy type family. So I wanted to make the most of the inside space. So yeah, I'm going to give my voice a break, because I feel like it is kind of starting to go again. But I hope it wasn't too jarring to listen to, because obviously it is definitely not recovered fully from when I've been ill. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this build, and I will see you in the next one, which will be the gym refurbishment. And then, yeah, as I say, if you've got any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. So have a good week, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.